could it be a 51st for the record pole man Tom Sykes? First of all, we see Loris Baz come to the line. He's going to shatter Razgatlioglu's time. He comes to the line, he's not able to do so. Second position, but it's only 0.06 of a second away from Razgatlioglu's 139.2, and we haven't seen too much of Toprak just yet. 2.5 minutes or so left in this session. Bautista's going to be the next of the front runners to come over the line. He's lost a couple of tenths in sector number 3. He's down in 7th at present. Has that tyre gone away from him? Attempting a second lap. The Spaniard driving towards the line here in Jerez. He comes across the line and he moves 4th, so he is able to improve, but he doesn't get himself up onto the front row. Let's wait and see with Tom Sykes, once again bidding for glory in Superpole. Comes to the line, he's done it. It's a 138.7. That's 0.4 of a second faster than anyone else has been in this Superpole session. He blitzes Toprak Razgatlioglu, and Sykes is on top once again. It's not over just yet though. Scott Redding is putting in a good effort on this lap. He's only 89 thousandths of a second away from Sykes' new outright best in this Superpole session. 2 minutes remaining, and we're not done and dusted for now.
Yeah, Redding very strong in the final sector as well, so we'll wait and see what he's able to do when he comes through sector 3. We're still waiting for Redding to come through that next timing point, but for Scott Redding, he looks like he could be the only rider able to really bring that fight to Tom Sykes. Fantastic lap, as usual, from Sykes once he puts that Q tyre on.
Vandermark, Davies, Rinaldi, Melandri, all set to improve on this lap round, but the focus is on Scott Redding. He's just a 1/10 of a second back from Tom Sykes' time through sector number 3. He's going to try and hook it up in sector 4 to see if he can get himself onto the front row of the grid. There's a 0.4 of a second margin behind Tom Sykes at the moment. Opportunity for Redding to slot in there, but he'll be gunning for glory and pole position, and it's Scott Redding by 0.04 of a second who pits Tom Sykes to the top position. Sykes is not going to be able to respond. He's slower on this latest lap round, and we're only a minute away from the checkered flag falling. Watch out further back for Jonathan Ray. Halfway mark in this lap. He's 0.2 of a second up on Redding, so Sykes could be further displaced here. We ride on board with the reigning champion.
Yeah, you could see how hard Ray was pushing as well down through Danny Pedrosa corner there. For Jonathan Ray, at the halfway point of the lap, he's 0.2 of a second up, but we know that Scott Redding very strong in that second half of the lap. Let's see if Jonathan's able to ride through turn 8, give himself a good chance, because this is the sector where he really needs to take advantage of that Kawasaki.
Chaz Davies moves up into 7th position. That's good news for him, but our focus is on Jonathan Ray. He's lost a little bit of time in sector number 3. That perhaps as anticipated. He's got to try and pull it all together now to get onto the front row of the grid. 20 seconds until the checkered flag falls, and it's the reigning champion Jonathan Ray, the pole sitter last season here in Jerez, who makes his way around the final turn. Turn 13. See if he can get the drag race down to the line and get himself up onto the front row in the dying seconds of Superpole here in Jerez. On board with Jonathan Ray as he crosses the line to go second. Not quite able to match Redding, but once again there's nothing in it. And between Redding, Ray and Sykes, currently our front row trio. Davies is on another improved lap, so the riders are managing to squeeze something extra out of this Superpole tyre, and Davies will attempt to move on to row 2 at very least here, but as things stand, it doesn't look as though there are going to be a great deal of other changes in the closing moments now after the checkered flag in this Superpole session. Jonathan Ray might be about to prove me wrong though. Look at that for a first sector time. He's up on Scott Redding. He's only got a mere fraction to find. Can he find it in the second half of the lap? That's critical.
Well, I think down in towards turn 6 could be a key one for Ray, because when we shifted to the onboard shot of him, it did look like he was slipping a little bit on the bike, losing that outside foot. So maybe there's a little bit of time there for Jonathan Ray to be able to find in sector 3.
Davies has asked too much of that Q tyre. He's dropped off massively in sector 3. He's not going to improve on his 7th position. 0.8 of a second back from top spot. That's still a decent effort from Davies in what has been a challenging new era on board that Ducati. But it's Jonathan Ray who is the man now who can pip Scott Redding. There's nothing to choose between those top 3. Ray has lost time in sector number 3. So just like Chaz Davies, finding that in the second half of that second lap on the Superpole tyre, it's just not able to hold up to the task. And Ray has now rolled off this lap. He will have to content himself with second place.